Hello and welcome to Drishti IAS today's GK program. In this program, we bring to you MCQs to practice for your upcoming prelims. Beginning with the previous day practice question, the question was consider the following statements. 1. Tree is a tropical and subtropical plant and grows well in hot and humid climates. 2. The ideal temperature for its growth is 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. 3. The most suitable soil for tea cultivation is slightly acidic soil. Which of these statements given above are correct? 1 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3? So the answer is D, that is all these statements are correct. Let us find out why. So tea is a beverage made from Camellia sinensis plant. It is the world's most consumed drink after water. It is believed that tree originated in northeast India, North Myanmar, and southwest China, but the exact place where the plant first grew is not known. There is evidence that tea was consumed in China 5,000 years ago. So, climate for tea is a tropical and subtropical plant and grows well in hot and humid climates. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The ideal temperature for its growth is 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, and temperatures above 35 and below 10 are harmful for the bush. Hence, statement 2 is also correct. It requires 150 to 300 centimeter annual rainfall, which should be well distributed throughout the year. Also, the most suitable soil for tea cultivation is slightly acidic soil without calcium with porous subsoil which permits a free percolation of water. Hence, statement 3 is also correct. Beginning with the first question for this episode, which of the following countries are member of Association of Southeast Asian Nations, that is ASEAN? 1 Brunei, 2 Cambodia, 3 Laos, 4 Vietnam. We have to find the correct answer, that is 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the answer is 3, that is all the options are part of the answer. Let us find out why. The Prime Minister of India recently participated in the 18th India ASEAN Summit at the invitation of His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkiah of Brunei, the current chair of ASEAN. ASEAN is a regional grouping that promotes economic, political, and security cooperation. It was established in August 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand, with the signing of the ASEAN Declaration or Bangkok Declaration by the founding fathers of ASEAN, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Its chairmanship rotates annually based on the alphabetical order of English names of the member states. Members are Brunei, which was in the option, Cambodia, again in the option, Indonesia, Laos, which was in the option, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, which was in the option. Hence, option D was the correct answer. Question number 2. Consider the following statements. 1. Indian Coast Guard ship Sarthak has 100% indigenous content, thus providing the necessary fillip to the Indian shipbuilding industry. 2. Indian Coast Guard operates under the Ministry of Defense and performs non-military functions. 3. Indian Coast Guard has jurisdiction over the territorial waters of India, including contiguous zone and exclusive economic zone. We have to find the correct statements, that is option A 1 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 3 only, option D 1, 2 and 3. Answer is B, that is only statement 2 and 3 were correct. Let us find out how. In a significant boost to the maritime safety and security of the nation, the indigenously built Indian Coast Guard ship Sarthak was commissioned and dedicated to the nation recently at Goa by the Director General of Indian Coast Guard. Indian Coast Guard ship Sarthak has about 70% indigenous content, thus providing the necessary fillip to the Indian shipbuilding industry and a giant leap towards achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat. Hence, statement 1 was incorrect, that is, only 70% indigenous content and not 100% indigenous. Also, Ocean Patrol Vehicle or OPV Sarthak is the fourth in the series of indigenous project for 5 OPVs. Indian Coast Guard operates under the Ministry of Defense and performs non-military functions. Hence, statement 2 is correct. It has jurisdiction over the territorial waters of India, including contiguous zone and exclusive economic zone. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Moving on to question 3, consider the following statements regarding Paris Climate Accord. 1. It is a legally binding international treaty on climate change. 2. It was adopted by 196 countries at Conference of the Parties, that is COP21, in Paris in December 2015. 3. It aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius and preferably limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. We have to find out the correct statement. That is option A 1 only, B 1 and 2 only, C 2 and 3 only, D 1, 2 and 3. So the answer is D. That is, all these statements were correct. Let us find out why. India is largely on track to meet and even exceed its Paris Climate Agreement targets, said a new report by an international non-profit environment organization. So, Paris Climate Agreement is a legally binding international treaty on climate change. Hence, statement 1 is correct. It was adopted by 196 countries at Conference of the Parties COP21 in Paris in December 2015. Hence, statement 2 is also correct. It aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius and preferably limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Its objective is to achieve long-term temperature goal. Countries aim to reach global peaking of greenhouse emissions as soon as possible to achieve a climate-neutral world by mid of this century. Moving on to next question, consider the following statements. 1. In India, Odisha has the largest or highest percentage of area under mangrove cover. 2. The Sundarbans Delta is the only mangrove forest in the world inhabited by tigers. 3. The Sundarbans region was affected into 2020 by Cyclone Gati. Which of the statements given above are correct? A 1 and 2 only, B 2 only, C 2 and 3 only, D 1, 2 and 3. The answer is B, that is, only the second statement was correct. Let us find out why. India's Sundarbans National Park is among the 5 sites that have the highest blue carbon stocks globally, according to a new assessment of greenhouse gas volumes emitted from and absorbed by forests in UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Among the states and union territories, West Bengal has the highest percentage of area under total mangrove cover, followed by Gujarat and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. The Sundarbans is a vast contiguous mangrove forest ecosystem in the coastal region of Bay of Bengal, spread over India and Bangladesh on the delta, which is the world's largest of the Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Meghna rivers. The Sundarbans Delta is the only mangrove forest in the world inhabited by tigers, hence statement 2 is correct. Sundarbans region was badly damaged by Cyclone Amphan in 2020. Cyclone Gati affected Somalia in November 2020 by causing landfall in the region. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements regarding Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. 1. The Act changes the nomenclature from juvenile to child or child in conflict with law. 2. Included special provisions to tackle child offenders committing heinous offenses in the age group of 15 to 18 years. Which of these statements are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So the answer is option A, that is, only the first statement was correct. Let us find out how. The Ministry of Women and Child Development has issued a notification for draft amendments to Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Model Rules 2016 and invited feedback. Juvenile Justice Amendment Bill 2021, which seeks to amend the 2015 law, was passed in both houses of Parliament earlier this year. The Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 replaced the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2000. The Act changes the nomenclature from juvenile to child or child in conflict with law. Also, it removes the negative connotation associated with the word juvenile. Hence, statement 1 is correct. It also includes several new and clear definitions such as orphaned, abandoned, and surrendered children, and petty, serious, and heinous offenses committed by children. It included special provisions to tackle child offenders committing heinous offenses in the age group of 16 to 18 years. Hence, statement 2 is incorrect. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements regarding grey langurs. 1. It is listed as endangered under IUCN Red List. 2. They inhabit areas between 2200 to 400 meters above mean sea level in tropical, moist, temperate forests only. Which of these statements given above are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. The answer is option D, that is, both these statements are incorrect. Let us find out why. Recently, a troop of grey langurs with their pelage, fur or hair colored blue were spotted in an industrial neighborhood of Ankleshwar in Gujarat. It is also called Hanuman langur, named after the Hindu god Hanuman. Its 16 subspecies range extends from the Himalayas in the north to peninsular India in the south. It is found both in the forests and near human inhabitations. They inhabit areas between 2200 to 4000 meters above mean sea level in subtropical, tropical, moist, temperate, alpine, coniferous, and broadleaf forests and scrublands. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. It is distributed in a varied habitat, including dry savanna and tropical rainforests. In the Indian subcontinent, their distribution is reported in Bhutan, northern India, and Nepal. Their protection status under IUCN Red List is least concern. They are in Appendix 1 of CITES and Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements. 1. Article 41 of the Indian Constitution deals with the assistance in cases of disablement. 2. The relief of the disabled person is listed under the concurrent list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. 3. The Accessible India Campaign or AIC campaign is launched by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Which of the statements given above are correct? A 1 and 2 only, B 2 only, C 1 and 3 only, D 1, 2 and 3. The answer is C, that is only first and third statement was correct. Let us find out why. Article 41 of the Directive Principles of State Policy states that a state shall make effective provision for securing right to work, to education, and to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement within limits of its economic capacity and development. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The subject of relief of the disabled and unemployable is specified in the state list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Accessible India Campaign is the nationwide flagship campaign of the Department of Empowerment of the Person with Disabilities under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. The aim of the campaign is to make a barrier-free and conducive environment for Divyangjans, that is, persons with disabilities, all over the country. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements regarding Green Day Ahead Market GDAM. 1. With GDAM, any renewable energy generating company can set up and sell renewable energy on the exchange. 2. India is the only large electricity market in the world to implement GDAM exclusively for renewable energy. Which of these statements given above are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. The answer is C, that is, both these statements are correct. Let us find out how. Recently, the Union Minister of Power and New and Renewable Energy has launched the new market segment Green Day Ahead Market at the Indian Energy Exchange. India is the only large electricity market in the world to implement a Green Day Ahead Market exclusively for renewable energy. Hence, statement 2 is correct. GDAM is a marketplace for trading renewable power on a day ahead basis. National Load Dispatch Center (NLDC), Power System Operation Corporation Limited (POSOCO), as the nodal agency, has set up the requisite technologies and infrastructure for the launch of GDAM. With GDAM, any renewable energy generating company can set up and sell renewable energy on the exchange. Hence, statement 1 is correct. It will operate in an integrated way with the conventional day-ahead market. However, there will be separate price discoveries for the conventional and renewables. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements. 1. It is called marsh gas because it is found at the surface of marshy places. 2. Its incomplete combustion yields carbon black, which is widely used as a reinforcing agent in rubber used for automobile tires. 3. It is responsible for creating ground-level ozone, a dangerous air pollutant. The above statements appropriately describe which of the following carbon compounds: A. Methane, B. Carbon tetrachloride, C. Nitromethane, D. Chloroform. The answer is option A, that is methane. Let us find out why. Methane is the simplest hydrocarbon consisting of one carbon atom and four hydrogen atoms, that is CH4. It is a powerful greenhouse gas. It is flammable and is used as a fuel worldwide. Methane is called marsh gas because it is found at the surface of marshy places. Its major uses are: it is an important source of hydrogen and some organic chemicals. It reacts with steam at high temperatures to yield carbon monoxide and hydrogen. The latter is used in the manufacture of ammonia for fertilizers and explosives. The incomplete combustion of methane yields carbon black, which is widely used as a reinforcing agent in rubber used for automobile tires. Environmental impact of methane: it is 84 times more potent than carbon and doesn't last as long in the atmosphere before it breaks down. This makes it a critical target for reducing global warming more quickly while simultaneously working to reduce other greenhouse gases. It is responsible for creating ground level ozone, a dangerous air pollutant. Hence, option A is correct. Moving on to the last question of the episode, consider the following statements. 1. The GST Council is a constitutional body created under Article 279A of the Constitution. 2. The GST Council is a federal body chaired by the Prime Minister of India. Which of these statements given above are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, D. neither 1 nor 2. The answer is A, that is, only the first statement was correct. Let us find out why. The central government released 44,000 crore rupees to states and union territories recently as back-to-back loans in lieu of their GST compensation dues, thus completing the transfer of rupees 1.59 lakh crores estimated compensation shortfall through this mechanism this financial year. GST Council is a constitutional body under Article 279A for making recommendations to the union and state government on issues related to GST. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The GST Council is chaired by the Union Finance Minister, and other members are the Union State Minister of Revenue or Finance and ministers in charge of finance or taxation of all the states. It is considered as a federal body where both the center and the states get due representation. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Now let us have a look at the practice question. The question is, consider the following statements regarding CAATSA or CAA-TSA. 1. It is a Union Nations resolution that imposes sanctions on Iran, Syria and North Korea. 2. It also sanctions against the countries that engage in trade with China's defense and intelligence sectors. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2. Option D. neither 1 nor 2. Comment with your choice in the comment section below. See you in next episode.